she instead writes a letter to ask the president and Congress for more money to continue this madness. I mean, first of all, she's asking for money for health care, right? Health care. So I'm sure there's people watching here who are having difficulty paying their health care bills. There are people who have high co-pays, people that have high deductibles, people who have high prescription drugs. She wants them to be able to get free health care and expand Medicare cost sharing with the federal government. We know that she already did some of that in the state budget, but now she wants the federal government to come in and pay for it. She also wants transportation, all right? They just raised out tolls and fares. They're trying to jam through a $23 congestion tax. And she's asking for free Metro cards for asylum seekers. No, absolutely not. She's asking for housing assistance. What an insult to the people in this country that are struggling to pay their rent and their mortgages. They're foreclosing on their houses. She's asking for them to cut the line to get Section 8 vouchers. In my office, I have people that call all the time to get on the wait list. It is a years-long wait list. We have domestic violence victims. We have veterans. And our governor is really asking the federal government for people who are here illegally that came last week, never paid taxes, never worked, never contributed in this country, to receive housing vouchers to cut the line for Section 8 before our veterans and domestic violence victims. That's another no way. Education. We know that, of course, New York City wants to spend $700 million to educate the children of these individuals, and they want New Yorkers to pay for it. We have overcrowded classrooms, we have limited resources, and again, she's asking the federal government to bail them out here. But this is one thing that's really important. I want everyone to listen. They are asking for work authorization. The mayor and the governor had asked for this. Now, some people may say, oh, well, let them work so they can support themselves. But this is the problem. In New York City, right before Bill de Blasio left, he left us a little gift. And that was the Our City, Our Vote legislation that he and the Democratic-run council, including, by the way, Justin Brannan in Brooklyn voted for it, and others, they all voted for this bill that would allow for non-citizens to vote in our municipal elections. Now, these are the criteria. They have to be either a legal resident, okay, which means green card holder, all right, for example, or have work authorization and reside in New York for just 30 days.
Mothers of River City, heed that warning before it's too late. Watch for the telltale signs of corruption.
See, we knew that this was going to go on. We know why a lot of these illegal immigrants are here for, why, the borders are not closed out. And basically, because you have those in office right now knowing that there is a change coming. There is a major change coming as the voter electorate. Because you have minority communities now starting to go against those in office because of all the situations that are going on. I mean, you have high crime, you have high prices in your supermarket. Don't listen to what the White House said. They said, well, it was a cheaper Thanksgiving. No, it wasn't. I spent more on Thanksgiving this year than ever before. I may have not spent a lot on the turkey, but all the trimmings and everything else, yeah, I did spend money. I did spend money on that. And then, of course, you, like I said, the crime, the protests, the disfacement of, you had the New York Public Library defaced by graffiti on there. The attacks that are going on. Columbus Circle was attacked just recently on there. They tried to get into other stores. And then, of course, the taxes, the prices of oil, and many other things. And you may say to yourself, the past elections, there were no issues. There were no issues. But we're finding out that there are issues. There were. And I'm not talking presidential. I'm talking smaller elections. Connecticut is now looking to redo the mayoral election there because of mail-in ballot situation, harvesting that was going on. That basically a judge has already saying that they're going to have to redo. There are other states that are going through the same issue. Pay-to-play situations in one election on there, which has been caught on video itself. If you haven't, do catch it. There are these situations. There are plenty of videos out there that proves it. And now here on Staten Island, we said these were issues that, when they started to put illegal migrants into a school out here and a nursing home, they kicked people out of a nursing home just to make room for illegal migrants. They said, no, that never happened. Well, there are interviews out there. One particular one that's on the New York Post itself, that they talked to a gentleman. They told that he had a shorter period of time to get out. But now the alarm is crying out by our representative out here, Nicole Malliotakis. And this was just 2 Sundays ago, that basically the shelter that's still running here in Staten Island, which is the nursing home one, that they're trying to register migrants for the next election.
I fucking knew it! Oh!
Think about that for a minute. And we're going to read this off of the New York Post. And this is directly from the New York Post. New York GOP polls claim smoking gun in alleged migrant voter fraud scam. Representative Nicole Malliotakis on Sunday accused New York City of trying to stack voter rolls by trying to illegally register migrant housed at a Staten Island shelter to cast ballots in the upcoming elections. Malliotakis, joined by 4 other Staten Island Republicans, claimed a city contract with a nonprofit hired to run the shelter includes a stipulation that voter registration forms are to be distributed to the asylum seekers there, which they call both unlawful and underhanded. On the page 50 of this contract, there's an entire section dedicated to voter registration, the Congresswoman said at a press conference near the former Island Shores senior residence, now a migrant shelter. We believe this is the smoking gun that proves that what we've been saying all along, that the city intends to register non-citizens to vote. At issue is the city's contract with organizations Homes for the Homeless to operate a shelter at the site of the Shutter Nursing Home on Father Capodanno Boulevard in Midland Beach. The contract, which Malliotakis was obtained via the state Freedom of Information Law request, includes a stipulation that the nonprofit, in accordance with the New York City Charter, shall provide and distribute voter registration forms to all persons, with the forms made available in Spanish and Chinese. Another portion of the document said to the contractor shall not inquire about a client's or potential client's immigration status unless it's relevant to the services in question. It is unclear the language is the standard in the city's contract for shelter and housing services. Under city law, Big Apple voters must be U.S. citizens, having been in a New York City resident at least 30 days and at least 18 years before Election Day. A measure passed overwhelmingly by the City Council in 2021 opened the door for green card holders and other legal non-residents to qualify in voting local elections, although not in state or national races, but was struck down by a Staten Island judge. Supreme Court Judge Ralph Pornzo issued a permanent injunction blocking the law in June of 2022, but that rule is being appealed by Mayor Eric Adams' administration. Think about that for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Who's trying to upheave this injunction? Myotakis and other GOP polls, 3 state legislators and a city council member maintained the Homes for the Homeless contract was an attempt by the city hall to push the envelope. They are bringing to you voter registrations of people who are here illegally, and as soon as they are here for 30 days, how are they entitled to vote? State Assemblyman Sam Pizzullo told reporters. What is the first thing they're going to vote for? Better hotel rooms? How quick? How do they even understand the American system of government? Fellow State Assemblyman Michael Tanos agreed. We need New Yorkers to wake up and see what is happening, he said. Look what is happening to your community. The polls with the group, also including Assemblyman Mike Riley and City Councilman David Carr, have fought the efforts by Adams to house migrants on Staten Island. It is about time we wake up, Riley said, because right now they're a light shining saying, come here, we're going to give you everything free. That's not what the formation of our country was about. New York City Board of Elections Deputy Director Vincent I'm sorry if I butcher this, Ignosi told the Post that the Staten Island officials should reach out to the proper authorities if they have legitimate claims of voter fraud. If the Congresswoman is aware of individuals or groups acting illegally by registering folks to vote for whom are not eligible, she should make the appropriate referrals to the local DA, State Board of Elections, Attorney General, if warranted, federal authorities, Ignos said. But yet, these are the people that are trying to push for it. Understand that. Is this administration. That's why you haven't seen it. Because there are those in the election boards, there are those in the DA that are Soros funded that will push to get illegals to vote. Mayor Eric Adams' administration slammed Malliotakis' claim as false and reckless. These allegations are false and baseless. DHS is legally requiring to include the language around the voter registration and DHS shelter contacts, and this guidance applies only to eligible clients who are citizens and would clearly not apply to asylum seekers in a shelter, a Department of Social Services spokesperson said in a statement Sunday night. Instead of helping cities' emergency response to this ongoing crisis, it's deeply troubled to see an elected representative actively working to spread misinformation. Prove that it's misinformation, ladies and gentlemen. You know, this is the one thing. They love to throw that word out. Misinformation. And hurt the integrity of the efforts of countless city workers and frontline staff who have been working tirelessly to ensure the delivery of critical, vulnerable asylum seekers. Our teams continue to provide case management services to connect asylum seekers, to provide support to help them move out of the shelter. We strong caution against lending any credence to the dangerous misrepresentation of the city's response to this humanitarian crisis, the DSS rep added. The State Board of Elections urged critics to file a complaint about the alleged voter registration irregularities, while the State Board of Elections is unaware of the specific contract with New York City. We encourage anyone concerned about the ineligibility individuals registering to vote to contact the State Division of Electoral Enforcement and a state BOE spokesperson. And you see, the thing about it is, listen to the situation. They're talking about legal migrants, and they said, oh yeah, we're trying to help on this ongoing crisis. You have a major crisis of homeless people being kicked to the curb. Kicked to the curb. We've already heard from Curtis Sliwa. Yes, he's running for mayor, but he has at least shown what is going on in the streets of New York right now. There is a pregnant woman in Brooklyn and Coney Island that was kicked to the curb. 9 months pregnant. And she was kicked to the curb to make room for illegal migrants. I've said this before, and I keep saying this. Look at the streets of New York right now. You know, they say, well, there are families on there. Yeah, there are families there, but not as the amount you think. Most of what's out there are single men. Understand this. This is a repeat performance of the 1980s Mariel boat lift. If you don't know what that is, go and check it out. Go look at it. What happened was Cuba emptied out its prisons, so did Haiti. And they just literally got thrown on boats and sent to America. Okay, sent to Florida. And what happened? You had increasing crime. You had minority communities loss of their government programs to them. At that time was food stamps. They were called it food stamps back then. SNAP these days. They've lost a lot of things. Places like Carroll City, Liberty City. We had riots, the McDuffie riots to the situation, because, they started hiring police to handle the situation that were inexperienced, that they should never, there were people that were hired into the police department that should have never been hired as police because they fast-tracked so many people, and that's what they do today. There was a time when we hired police officers proper. We don't do that anymore. They put in laws that says, well, we got to do this. I mean, Mayor Adams just signed a law for discrimination, to fight discrimination against fat people and tall people and short people. There are jobs out there that I'm heavy that I should not have. I should not get a job. If I'm out of shape, I should not be getting a police job or an FDNY job. But now, someone can say, well, you're telling me that I'm too fat to be on there. I'm going to sue. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But see, this is the thing. The social services, like I said, back in the 80s, the social services part of this situation, the minorities got screwed over for people that should not be in this country to begin with. That they were just tossed out of a country. There were those, I understand, there were those that, that were on the end that they just basically were against the Castro government, and they were kicked out to that situation, and they could have came into this country legally to that point. But no, Castro just literally tossed them all on boats, sent them across, and then Haiti took to that moment to empty out their jails at a time when they had their government was very corrupt. When you hear from people that says, well, we have to have these people vote. No, they're not Americans yet. If they want to be Americans, let them go through the system properly, and eventually they'll get the right to vote. Not now. They don't understand our system. You have those out there, and I'm telling you, especially a lot of the Middle Eastern and Africans that are out there. This is not being discriminatory, because you've seen this happen in other countries like Italy, Germany, and all that. They're not going to violate to the laws of the country. They're going to continue the way they were acting in their own country in this country. They're not going to follow the law. They're not going to follow the things that are going on there because they don't care. As long as they get a house over their head, food on there, if they're able to stay in the high-end hotels, because that's what they want, And this is what, there are immigration groups that are just pushing this, and they're pushing this, and they're telling people, outside of this country, come to this country, come here. We can give you so much. No. They're emptying out other countries, and you got to wonder why. Why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? And you have people that are coming from and like I said, people coming from Africa. Why didn't they stay in Brazil? Why didn't they stay in the numerous amount of countries between Brazil and Mexico? They had a chance to find safe haven on there. No, they had to come rickshaw straight through into the United States. Think about that for a moment. And don't forget, comment. Tell me your thoughts about this. They say, well, this is the far right talking to the situation. No. Listen to those here on Staten Island. This is why we want to succeed from New York, for this reason. because basically they're screwing over the average voter. Doesn't matter whether you're on the left, whether you're on the right, you're conservative, if you're liberal, if you're independent, they're screwing over the people in this part of the city. And other parts as well. There are people who are disgruntled in many parts of the city of New York. And, like I said, Staten Island wants to succeed for this reason. We need to wind our roads. Where are the money's going to? They're going into the pockets of the politicians. You've already heard the story. We've already talked about the FDNY situation, where basically they've had to fast track per city hall companies like Meta, Amazon, and many big companies on fire inspections, whereas public schools that are overcrowded, that need a fire inspection, have been pushed back, pushed aside. God forbid if anything happens into that school. This is why the FDNY stepped in to shut down some of the migrant shelters here in New York, because they weren't up to code. Think about how much that are not in code in our public school systems and some of our homes and stuff like that, and some of the actual constructions that are not big money, that they're average constructions that they're trying to get open up on there, and they can't because they're being held back by people getting pushed to the front of the line. And think about that. They're trying to push the migrants to the front of the line, the illegal migrants to the front of the line. They're trying to push big corporations to the front of the line. This is what the politicians do. This is why a lot of these people need to go. So comment, share this video, very important on that. Stay strong, question everything. We'll see you on the next video. Thank you for tuning in, and bye-bye now.
Thanks for watching. Before you go, please comment, like, and share this video. Also, if you haven't yet, please subscribe, as this helps the reach of our channel. Finally, as a content viewer, you have that ability to help support this and many other channels. Especially now more than ever, since the passing of a new law in the United Kingdom that will diminish the reach of many channels and affect our advertisers. If you wish to help grow this channel by financial support, you have two ways. There are two links in the description below. The first will send you to a pay site where you can make a monetary donation. The second will send you to our gear store, where you can purchase t-shirt, mugs, and other specialty items. Any additional discounts will be listed on the main page. Once again, thank you for watching and your support.